Hello. I wasn't going to talk about myself, but everyone else did. So, my name's Ayah, just like you say, Ayah. I'm from Jordan. My background is engineering and sustainability. I've been working with the energy sector all my life, even now. But this is not what I'm talking about. So today I'm going to talk about the lot. So we'll know in a second what it is. Social media and connectivity. You hear these days the term "okay, boomer." What boomers think of social media is that it kind of reinforced individualism. People now have their own worlds. They consume them. They design them for the way that works for them. So you block out. You turn a blind eye on whatever you don't want to see. But I think social media and connectivity helped reinforce some values and re-enable them. Some of these values is sharing. So I'm from Jordan. My dad grew up in a small village in the north of Jordan, and he always told me stories about sharing in the community. He used to knock on almost every door in the village, just trying to find their iron. They were the only people in that village to have an iron. So people did not just borrow it, they lent it to others. The neighbors had a TV, the only people with a TV. Everyone would spend the evening there watching TV every night. So you don't even just share it with them, you make them tea and cake. So some people might think that this is profound, it's like utopia. Some people might find it, especially in the British culture, it's like a violation of your comfort, of the things that you own, of your time, of your effort. And the way to think about it is kind of when we look back in the last half of the second half of the last century, production picked up and all kind of commodities and products became cheaper. So everyone now owns everything they need. Everyone has a coffee maker at home. Not everyone, but whoever wants to, they can. A coffee maker, waffle maker, a drone, Xbox, etc. But we kind of find ourselves in a position where we want more. And some people might argue that this is a bad thing, but I don't think it is a bad thing to want more. It's just a question of how realistic is that. So I came to Leeds 3 years ago as a student, and the people that know me know how much I love food. I've got something called Leeds Indulgence, so I do kind of food review and try to promote local eateries in Leeds. So this is a story of shawarma. I don't know if you know shawarma, but it's the Arabic improved version of a kebab. And to make this, you need to make a sauce. And to make the sauce, you need a blender. And when I was a student, I needed a blender to make shawarma. But when I thought about it, I was like, okay, I went on Amazon. If I buy one, it would cost me £20 to get one, but it's a bad quality one. Or do I pay more and get a good quality one? But I'm in Leeds for a year. That's what I kind of initially thought that would be the case. But so it didn't make kind of perfect sense for me to buy this thing for 1 year, use it probably once because that's what we do. We just fancy things and then we forget about them. And where am I going to store it? Like I live in student accommodation. We have very limited space. So I didn't buy the blender. Found falafel guys in Leeds. But anyway. But it's a problem that's kind of bigger than the student culture. It goes to like all people, as in we have more than half of the world population now that's ever growing. They live in urbanized settings, and they have kind of shrinking income and always increasing expenses. So it creates the challenge of guaranteeing equal access to goods? Do people have the same kind of equal opportunity to access goods? And that kind of brings us to ownership. So climate emergency, which I talk about every time I have the opportunity, it was the Oxford Dictionary decided that this is the term of the year, or the word of the year, this year. When we talk about products, we talk about depleting resources, we talk about violating labor or abusing labor in third world countries, we talk about waste management, and all of this, why? So we can own more products. But what do we do with the products we own? So I put a picture of a power drill here because a power drill gets used for an average of 12 to 15 minutes throughout its lifetime. That's it. So all that material, time, effort that went into producing it, and we buy it for a few quids on Amazon. So it makes us question, is it about us owning things, or is it about having access to use these things? That's why I talk about kind of access over ownership. Now, a lot of surveys around the world, and it's not just like in one region, globally, they found that people are willing to share more, but they don't do share more on their day-to-day basis. They should, except for the cases of cars, flats, and bikes, but everything else we don't share. So there is clearly a gap between the willingness to share and the act of sharing, and could be like for a few reasons. Some of them is lack of trust. You don't trust sharing things with people. It could be logistics reasons. You just don't have the time, or you don't want to even bother with that. Could be financial reasons as well. But if there is a way to initiate an easy process that would enable sharing, find insurance for people, make them trust the process, make them kind of create revenues out of it, and be environmentally responsible, why wouldn't they? So I came up with the LOT. So the LOT stands for Library of Things. Simply, it's a mobile application. It kind of coordinates a peer-to-peer borrowing and rental of goods. And it kind of allows people to access more things and make revenues at the same time if they want to. And all happens in a kind of sustainable, environmental way. Just stop clicking. Here we go. So to create it, and this is kind of an interesting thing between academia and partnership and business. So this compass was created by Pablo Munoz, who was a lecturer here at Leeds University. So he and his team, they analyzed over 700 startups that used sharing economy as their concept. And they looked at kind of all different aspects, all possibilities, all different routes for you to take. And this really helped me kind of design the model of this startup. Just to briefly kind of show a little bit about it, I don't know if you can read it, but it's a peer-to-peer lending. It's tech-enabled. It's not for free. You don't give anything else in return. You pay money, so people need to make money out of it. And some people might use it for like a profit, some people might use it because they believe they need to be responsible. So it's like a hybrid kind of model. It makes good use of underutilized products. Some people might decide, you know what, we're going to get new products and rent them out. And I hope for it to be a collaborative effort, not just a corporate kind of style. So this is just some snippets. I have the prototype now, been working on it for like a year. So from a borrower perspective, you have different products. You can view the product, you can view the rating of it, so kind of to know what to choose. You have all the information you need about it, and then you can check the availability as you want it on these dates, and kind of view as well the different at which stage your borrow process is. And then from the lending, side, you can become a lender by uploading a product, and then you can manage, if you find someone borrowing something from you, but they have bad kind of reviews, as in they don't return them or they break them or whatever, you approve it or decline it. You have completely full control of your product when you want to rent it out, when you don't want to. And you could just kind of read the data as in what product brings you more money. And then you could decide, you know what, this brings me so much money, I'm going to buy a new lens, I'm going to buy a new bike, etc. And I'm kind of trying to incorporate some gamification in it, just to kind of encourage people to use it. So kind of some badges, some rewards with kind of local companies, as in you get a free vegan meal somewhere, you get free bus ticket, etc. And this kind of brings me to the last point, which is trust. Why would people trust this process? Like when we talk about the early days, not late, for me, early 90s, my mom used to always say, don't talk to strangers, don't ever get in a stranger's car, don't sleep at a stranger's house. But nowadays we get in a car with a stranger through Uber, we sleep, we couch surf somewhere, we talk in a person's house that we don't know, we talk to random people on Twitter and LinkedIn, etc. So it kind of, connectivity found a way to reinforce the already always existing human values. And one of them in this case is sharing. And that's it. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Ayah. Did you happen to have any big overall takeaway for the audience for connectivity, or what that kind of means to you?
Yeah, I said something, I don't know if there's, so many thoughts, but so 4 years ago, I have never heard of the word Leeds. To me, Lead is leadership in energy and environment design, which is like the green buildings buildings, that's what we call them. Well, I was doing research about university studies, sustainability, etc., and I found Leeds. And I came here, I absolutely knew no one, not a single person. And now, I moved like 3 and a bit years ago. Now Leeds is home for me. I have my partner, my kind of 2 jobs, my hobby, the network that I created around that hobby, and everyone here around, from Nexus. And I've been getting so much support that I don't even need to pay for. People just are, Philip is one of them, they're just kind of suggesting or offering help. And it's just because we get like things like Leeds Digital Drinks connecting us, it really kind of helps us use this platform to work on better ideas. And thank you.
You did have one more plug here for the,
An important one.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't think you put it. So, why kind of, it's just talking about how the lot is really important. So, you've already heard about how the UK had signed up to net zero in 2050, and it will be net zero carbon target, kind of, we'll have it. So, this graph just shows the kind of what IPCC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, say that the safe level of temperature rise is. It's 1.5 degrees Celsius, which is that all governments made before Trump pulled out. We were gonna already raise the climate temperature by 2.9. That's why we cannot just leave it to governments. That's why we need to create more startups and campaigns and ideas and connect together to bring that number down to 1.5 degrees. And that's it. Thank you.